The Benjamin Dixon Show is only possible with listener support. Go to www.patreon.com/The BPD Show.
Today is Tuesday, November 23rd, 2021. A caller yesterday asked the question, how far can the depravity of white supremacy go? And we saw in the trial, in the closing statements, in the Ahmaud Arbery trial, exactly that there is no depth to their depravity. Let's discuss this at length today. We begin this morning with On the Clock with Georgia Ford.
We are following developments this morning from Prior Lake, Savage, Minnesota. Many of you have seen our coverage about the girl who used the N-word and encouraged a 14-year-old Black student to kill herself. Last night, there was a school board meeting where school board officials were supposed to be hearing from parents and from students about their experiences, but unfortunately, that was cut short. I want to, for those of you who haven't been following, I want to show you guys a clip of the original video that incited this entire situation. Take a look. And whether or not we have that clip this morning. Hundreds of students gathered outside Prior Lake High School Thursday afternoon to demand that this student be expelled for her racist remarks.
You dark ass nigger. Dark ass chocolate bar. Get the fuck out of here.
No, I'm trying to fucking get anybody because nobody likes niggers.
No one likes niggers.
And if you watch the full 1-minute video, you'll notice her racial slurs escalate into this.
Fucking kill yourself right this time. Do it fucking right. Cut deep enough. Cut deep enough this time. Or fucking tie the rope higher. Like, what the fuck, bro?
The girl who was being attacked in the video was 14-year-old Naya, who spoke up during the protest.
I have had to deal with racism in my city for as long as I can remember. It's disgusting. It needs to stop. Now. And I am so thankful for every single one of you for showing up.
Yes. Love you, Naya.
I love y'all so much. Thank you so much. You understand how much this means to me, my family? This is where we can create real change.
Yes.
This happens here, right now. And I'm so thankful for every single one of you.
Yes.
We got your back!
Yes, we got your back!
Students were also joined by organizers and activists from the Twin Cities.
Y'all got a teacher named Sarah Bernard? Yeah! Sarah Bernard is done for. She's no longer working here. We are demanding that she is fired or that she resigns, but we prefer her being fired.
She should not teach again!
She defended the little racist white bitch, Jay. That's what it is. If you 12
And so, Lavish, the organizer that we just saw there at the end, was also present at the school board meeting, Ben. And we have him on this morning, along with his partner, Courtney, who was both present at that press conference and the school board meeting last night. Thank you both so much for joining. We'll show some clips from last night's school board meeting in just a moment. But since we have you here, can you talk about why this is an issue that both of you have decided to spend so much time and resources on?
Yeah, personally, it just blew my mind when I first saw the video. And what really shocked me was that it's not a one-time occurrence by any means. This type of thing happens almost daily, not only at Prior Lake High School, but surrounding suburban high schools. So once we really talked to just one of the students, we started getting literally hundreds of different testimonies and experiences that these students were having that were so similar to what Naya went through. And, obviously hearing what Jalen had to say really hurt all of us. But it's such a bigger problem. It's not just one person. It's not just one school. All these racist institutions are creating this problem at a young age. So I remember when I was in high school, I got suspended 36 times my senior year, even though I had been accepted to better colleges than a lot of my fellow students. And there was only one black teacher, and nobody was there advocating for me until we had Dr. Stevens, and she actually saved me from being expelled. Oops, lost me. So I just want to be somebody that I needed for somebody else, really.
That's right. That's right.
Absolutely. And Courtney, I know you've spent a lot of time speaking with the students, collecting their stories and documenting their stories, which is really important because, as you guys will see in a few minutes, the school board was not really open to hearing from parents and students about their experiences outside of just this one video. But you've been listening to the students, you've been listening to the parents, and you've actually been keeping a record of their encounters with teachers or other racist students.
I'm sorry. I was just having a little trouble here in Georgia.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I was just asking you about the documentation that you've been doing.
Yeah. So hundreds of kids have reached out to me, just telling me their story, feeling so grateful that they have finally had a platform for someone to just listen to them. So I have compiled hundreds of stories of teachers saying the N-word, multiple students. It goes back to 2012 when I graduated high school. Like, it's a reoccurring problem that no one has cared to address. And the only reason they care to address this one is because it went viral. I have over 30 videos, kids in KKK uniforms. It's absolutely absurd.
And if we can, Ben and I'd love to have you chime in on this. But I do want people to see what happened at that school board meeting last night. Folks were very hopeful that they were going to be able to bring their concerns to the superintendent, who is in a position to definitely make some decisions here, right? But what we saw is after about 5, maybe 6 comments at the most, the school board shut down the listening session. They refused to hear from anybody else. And if we can go ahead and roll that clip from last night so our viewers can see what happened.
There is silence, and there is no action has been taken into this situation. So what I have is for the district is a questions. What did you guys do when this problem happened in the middle school?
Well, that is all of our speakers this evening.
No, you got another speaker. You have another speaker.
I do not, and I can.
This room has another speaker. You can knock that hammer all you want.
Follow protocol.
No, but he has the right to speak.
I have the right.
You are here to listen to the community, so he has the right to speak.
I was going to enter this room with a bullhorn, and I wasn't going to listen to anything you had to say.
I understand, and we have policies and procedures.
And I may not have been invited to speak.
I'm going to ask you to be clear from.
And I'll gladly take more than 3 minutes. All right.
I'm going to call it.
I may not speak as eloquently as the previous speakers, but you will hear me. I heard hundreds of stories from these children, Amy. And I'm not here to talk about equity or equality and diversity. I'm here to demand that the school takes accountability. Demand that the school takes accountability. In the light of an international scandal, y'all didn't make a goddamn decision. That being said, it shouldn't take the world to watch for you to have to make a decision. But not only that, Michael, Michelle, even when the world was watching, you still didn't make a fucking decision. After this happened, you can step out. I'm going to keep speaking to these people here that you guys are supposed to represent. You only exist in this room to represent them.
There's one story from a student that happened October 21st. I was walking in the hallway during one of my classes. There was a walkie-talkie on the table with the sound up loud enough for me to hear. The comment I heard was absolutely disgusting. I overheard a staff member say, quote, "Look at all those black kids outside the cafeteria." Shocker. Quote, "The amount of black people outside the cafeteria is disturbing." You're not saying there's a bunch of white kids. Sick.
That's
your staff.
That's from the staff.
That's one from just your staff. I have hundreds.
You know, there's something that you said there, Lavish, that you said it should not have taken the entire world to bring you to the point of a decision, but even then they didn't make a decision. I saw that they slowed down when they started hearing some of those testimonies. Do you think the testimonies had any impact whatsoever? And if not, what is your next move?
And that's something that I've been pondering on, if they were actually receiving anything. So there were 10 board members and 9 out of the 10 were white. One of them was like Hispanic. So it's a pretty close representation of what the student body looks like. So we had maybe 3 people that were listening. And I don't really know if anything got through to them verbally, but the energy was definitely felt, you know. This part that we're seeing right here is Elizabeth, Naya's sister, and she definitely gave it to him. And I think they probably received that. You can see that woman right there holding her heart. But, you know, we're not here for these like fake tears. We need immediate and massive action that they have failed to take. So whether they actually heard us or not, it's been months and they've not taken any action.
Mm. And, you know, one other question I noticed, Georgia, that they didn't have tolerance for this protest, but they seem to have a lot of tolerance for the different types of protests we see in opposing the mask mandates. We see that the school boards across the country, they sit and listen to all of those parents who come and want to make sure that there's no mask mandates, but they cleared out in this instance. I just wanted to make that observation, Georgia.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, I was going to say, I actually spoke to the communications director for Prior Lake Savage Schools and was hoping to speak one-on-one with the superintendent or other school board members. They refused to speak to me. They did have a statement that they read at the beginning of the school board meeting, and they also like printed it out and handed it to whoever wanted it. The one thing they really wanted to draw attention to is the fact that the student who used the N-word is no longer in the Prior Lake Savage school area. She's no longer a student there. But, you know, what concerns me is even with the police who are allegedly investigating this incident, you know, they have the evidence that they need to move forward on, especially the violation of the law that says you cannot encourage someone to kill themselves. Yeah. And so, Lavish or Courtney, either one of you, you know, when you listen to that video, I'm curious to know if it was at all triggering for either one of you, you know, being Black yourself.
I have said a couple of times now, like, the N-word is something that we always fight against, and we always are going to be fighting that battle because these kids are never going to learn. So for some reason, it just is a repeating habit, and it's really, really bad in this generation. What struck the biggest chord with me, you put the N-word aside, you're encouraging another person to kill themselves. And that's where it's absolutely unacceptable. It's sick, and it when watching it, I'm like, the giggles behind it, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense how, what were you taught? How were you taught that was okay? How were you taught this much hate? And how was the school aware of this 3 weeks before this video went viral? And still let this go on. The only reason they did anything was because it went viral. If this never went viral, I guarantee you it would have been pushed under the rug and it would have been no problem. So for these Black kids at school, how is this a safe environment for them? It doesn't make sense.
And I'm thinking if this is the nature of, it's almost like a Disney, you know, Mickey Mouse clubhouse, adorable Nazi kind of racism. I wonder what the rest of it looks like. What is the toxic masculinity version of this racism that the people are facing? Because to me, if this is the baseline, it only gets worse from here.
Absolutely.
Yeah, the sexual assault, I've gotten so many stories, the sexual assault, the Islamophobia, it's through the roof at these schools.
Wow.
Yeah. And you also talked about a situation with the cars in the parking lot. And can you elaborate on that? I know it kind of got loud. They called the police in at one point. Can you expound on what that culture is in the parking lot and how students are affected by those issues there?
Yeah, we can paint a picture real quick. Lavish got on live and a bunch of kids attested to this, and I got a bunch of messages from kids about it. It's something that they called truck row. And all these kids had their Confederate flags, their Trump 2020 flags during the election, their Don't Tread on Me flags that hung on the back of their truck. And they all thought they were just this big bad gang that had their own row in the parking lot. So leading up to the election, they would, get all rowdy and after school and whatnot. And if you parked in their row, if you by chance didn't know, or you were like, oh, I'm going to park here for the day, there was a kid that had a tow truck, and he would either tow your car would get peed on and vandalized. Wow. So, and all of the staff knew about it. They all knew. They just let it happen. They had moments in school where they paused and had to pray for Trump. Like, they've created this environment.
Wow. They stopped and prayed for Trump, but did nothing about students urinating on vehicles and towing them illegally. Wow, Georgia. Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I was taken aback and to think, Courtney, you walked into that school board meeting with a very thick stack of papers documenting hundreds of experiences. And even that day when we were standing outside of Prior Lake High School, we heard from dozens of students, even from other schools nearby, that have had these experiences. Could you share with us maybe one of the most surprising encounters or experiences that either a student or a former student has shared with you all, and maybe talk about whether or not it was addressed?
I guess one of them that really hit a chord, there was a couple that hit a chord with me, and one of them I read yesterday, but this other one was about this girl who was a freshman, and her mom called and said, hey, she's recently been sexually assaulted. You have to just take it easy. Like, you got to understand what she's going through, told her story. And the day she showed up at school, all the kids knew about it. And they were bullying her for it and blasting her for it. And she went to the office and the school counselor and was like asking and pleading for help. And the principal at the time, which is not the current principal, but there was a principal at the time. So just to give you a playbook of how this has just repeatedly gone on, told her that she was making it up and she needed to get over it and like dry up her tears. And she's messaging me as she graduated in 2007, and she's messaging me and I'm like, you are so strong, you are so powerful and all these things. And she was like, every day I live with it. It's something that these people don't grow out of. So these school systems need to understand, like, you don't just go home and it's done. You don't just turn 30 and it's over. You relive these things every day, and you have to wake up and make a conscious acknowledgement to keep moving forward. It impacts them. And honestly, that one hit very hard, and it was never addressed. No one ever heard about it. She just had to she's like, I just had to ride the wave until it was the next, something else happened that took the attention off of me.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, thank you for the work that you all are doing. Before you go, you said Elizabeth is Naya's sister, correct?
Yeah.
So
and she's still a Prior Lake High School student.
Yeah, I want to share the clip of Elizabeth. She was really emotional, disappointed that the school board was not willing to hear the stories of other students so that they could realize this is not an isolated incident. This is not something that has just occurred one time. This is not something that's just occurring, Courtney, to your point, under the current administration of the principal who is in charge right now. This is something that has happened to former students of this high school. This is something that's happening district-wide in other schools, and you guys have documentation of that. You were trying to go through the correct process by presenting it last night. That was shut down. Lavish and Courtney, as we saw, you were both frustrated, but also let's remember who is at the center of all of this. 14-year-old Naya, who received these violent, racist, hateful attacks online, and her family's been impacted. Her sister, who's a student, also has been impacted. So I want you guys to take a look at Naya's sister yesterday when she realized the school board came back in, not to listen, but just to let people know that they were adjourning the meeting, and then they were leaving back out. Take a look.
Walking out on kids, y'all should be ashamed of yourselves.
And you guys just get to walk out. Well, every day we have to struggle. And you can just walk out of the room and not listen to what we go through. You all are white. And you all racist.
Ben, check Slack.
You all listen to racist right now. You don't listen to anything that we have to say. You do not care about any of us in this room. And I hope every day that your children feel what we feel and you finally understand what we have to go through. Sick. Do not.
Yeah, and it's so, as we get ready to wrap up here, it was emotional just to be there with you all last night. You mentioned that you're going to be meeting potentially with the governor and looking to present some laws. Can you share more about what you hope to do next?
Yeah, so there's already an anti-bullying clause in Congress. It's federal. However, apparently these schools aren't aware of it. But we want to add in a racial component where you don't just get held accountable and you get suspended or there's expulsion, but there's also potential criminal charges behind that. You can't move on with the status quo. You can't go ahead and get accepted to college. You can't get a regular job or things like that. Maybe you have to do 100 hours of community service, or you got to go to a program, something along those lines. But there definitely needs to be a racial component because there already is a bullying aspect, as you mentioned previously. So adding that in, I think, would be critical for sure.
I think
and
it's
also if you could, thank you.
No, I just think also they're trying to get in this doxing because Naya's address was leaked. Naya's address was leaked by another student at the school, and there was nothing. There was absolutely nothing about it. You have the kids now unsafe in school, and then you go home and their addresses are leaked. And clearly, this is a very racist town. So one, it's just not safe, and so we're trying to put that in through as well because you're leaking the addresses of minors.
Listen, again, thank you so much for the work that both of you are doing. If you could just tell the people how they can support your work and or get up with you if they want to connect.
Yo, Georgia, Benjamin, thank you guys so much. Grateful for what you guys are doing. Absolutely as well. Appreciate you. It's love. You can follow myself, Lavish Mac, on Instagram. You can also go to revoltnow.bigcartel.com if you'd like to get a shirt that says "Police the Police" on it. We're here in Minneapolis holding it down, making change, not moving through with the status quo. Grateful for everybody watching, and I appreciate you, Georgia and Ben. Thank y'all.
Absolutely.
Pleasure.
Thank you, Courtney, as well for your work and documenting all of the stories. Ben, I know that you have quite the show plans. What can people expect coming up in the next hour or so?
Well, Georgia, coming up in the next hour, we're going to open up the phone lines. We're going to be talking about the Ahmaud Arbery trial, the closing statements, and some of the disgusting things that were said by the defense attorney. And we're also going to be speaking with a friend of the show, Khalid. He is a candidate for mayor in South Fulton, Georgia, but he's also a very active brother on the national stage. We'll be talking about his campaign as well as some of the fights there locally. All of that coming up in the next block.
All right. Well, keep it here for that and more on The Benjamin Dixon Show.
still fly, let's go. It could all be worse, I could be a hater like you.
Good morning. Good morning, people. Good morning. It's your boy James.
But that poison's gonna kill you.
In the building. Good morning and welcome out.
So right now.
Coffee and tea, whatever it is you need to get your
Say
morning
it with your
started.
chest now, say it with your chest now.
Good morning, everybody.
I'm free, can't nobody take me here and now. It's my time to run it out. It's my time, it's my time to ride it. I'm young, I'm free.
Good morning, everybody. Roller Dragon, what's going on? Esther, Chuck Cecil.
And now,
Roller Dragon, Alicia, KFC, Verity, Juanita. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning,
y'all. I'm out of frame, but
cheers to all the haters, cause you proved to me that rising to the top was my destiny. And you can see whatever from behind me,
Mark S,
but
good
I
morning.
still fly.
Yeah, still what's going on? Silk City. Nicole, how good morning, y'all. D-So,
I'm still fly. Let's
Sam,
go.
good morning.
It could all be worse. I could be a hater like you.
Working on my shoulder. Good morning. Hey, Miss Sophia. Good morning, Sophia. Hollywood, good morning.
It's time to say it with your chest now. Say it with your chest now.
Jeremiah Schaefer, good morning. Demi Yamamama. Got it right. Black Magic, Brandon Johnson, Kareem Ransom, good morning, y'all.
It's my time to run it out. It's my time to ride it. I'm young, I'm free.
All right, here we go. That might be a little bit louder, but you don't really see it work. I like the bills. Good morning, Big Dreams. Good morning.
It's my time to ride it out. It's your time. Oh, if you're on the bus, say yeah.
Iris Jones, good morning.
If you're on the train, say yeah. Yeah. If you gotta walk, say yeah. Yeah. Everybody's going somewhere. Yeah. Young or old, I really don't care. Yeah. Life has never really been fair. Yeah. So put your fist up in the air. Yeah. Say yeah. I'm young, I'm free. Can't nobody take me here and now. It's my time to run it out. It's my time. It's my time to ride it. I'm young, I'm free. Can't nobody take me here and now. It's my time to run it out.
Pixie on the moon, good morning. Marcerie.
It's my time.
Good morning. Barbara, good morning.
It's your time.
Courtney the SLP, good morning to you.
The Benjamin Dixon Show is only possible with listener support. Go to www.patreon.com/The BPD
Show. Welcome back. Welcome back, everybody. It is Tuesday, November 23rd, 2021. Thanks so much for joining us. As always, I'm joined by my brother from another mother, DJ Exclusive. How's it going, man?
Pretty good. So how you doing this morning, brother Benjamin?
Man, I was doing good. I'm still doing good, but I just want to take a minute and recognize the daughter of Malcolm X, who passed away. They found her in her apartment, Malik Shabazz. I'm sure I'm not pronouncing her first name properly, but we do want to pause and reflect. She was 55 years old, and all of the information that we have so far says that there's no foul play. That's a family that's been hurt. You got to keep in mind that I believe that she was one of two twins that Malcolm's widow was pregnant with at the time of his assassination. I'm bringing that from memory. I could have that detail wrong, but regardless of that particular detail, the daughter of Malcolm X died at the age of 55, and they're still investigating the causes of that death. So, but, you know, other than that, I'm good, man. How you doing?
I'm good, brother. He's trying to juxtapose, and I know, man. I know, brother.
There was nowhere to go after
okay.
that. There was nowhere to go.
It was
nowhere to go.
But you know, man, and you know that family has fought long and hard. And I know something else just came out recently about Malcolm X in that case. So
right.
I know it's been a lot going on. It has been a lot going on, and I'm sure. And I'm sure that stress probably it got to her. I'm sure that's what it is. I'm sure. And just rest in peace and solidarity to the family.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And thank you for reminding me. We were just discussing this. The producer and I were discussing this yesterday, and not knowing that this would be the occasion that we would finally get a chance to talk about the two men who have been convicted of assassinating Malcolm X were exonerated. And this is years after the fact. And for decades, man, we all believed very clearly that there was something more that happened there. But to see that investigation finally come to fruition, and just shows you also how easy it is for this system to blame something on Black people, even when it is guilty itself. It is just a testament to what this system has always done. So that family has gone through a lot, and we're going to be sending up prayers and sending love, and like you said, solidarity over there to them. So,
right.
Let's make it worse. Do we have the clip of that defense attorney from the Ahmaud Arbery case? It's a short clip, and I don't even have her name yet. David, if you could give me her name. But this is the defense attorney in the closing statements yesterday. And I tell you, James, there's no depth to what these devils, and I make no qualms about calling them devils at this point, because when you hear how she vilifies the deceased, how she vilifies Ahmaud Arbery in this moment, all the way down to his dirty toes.
The clip's
I want America to listen. Go ahead, David.
The clip that we have is a little bit more compiled, so it's the defense in general. That clip is in there, but it's a little bit longer than what you saw.
Okay. Well, listen to how evil all of them are. Run the clip.
Yeah, right.
Defense lawyers told jurors that this killing was self-defense because when they look at this same disturbing cell phone video, they see the victim trying to overpower their client and take his gun.
And so he's done what he thinks the law allows him to do, which is to try to de-escalate that approach by showing force.
All we can guess about the young man is that his teenage years were full of promise, but his early 20s just led him in the wrong direction. Turning Ahmaud Arbery into a victim after the choices that he made does not reflect the reality of what brought Ahmaud Arbery to Satilla Shores in his khaki shorts with no socks to cover his long, dirty toenails. Greg and Travis didn't have to do anything on February 23rd, and the fear and the frustration of this neighborhood would continue. There was no legitimate reason for Ahmaud Arbery to be plundering through Larry English's house those 4 nights. Ahmaud didn't live there. He didn't work there. He didn't have friends there. He didn't jog through that neighborhood. He was a recurring nighttime intruder.
Prosecutors continue the second part of their closing arguments tomorrow morning. Then the judge will give the jury instructions, and then the jury will deliberate.
Sometimes it's, David, do me a favor, go to my timeline and get the short version of it, because sometimes it gets lost in the mix. I need the people to hear, again, and very clearly and very specifically, how she vilified this man down to his toes. Now, I heard it there, but there was a lot going on in that clip. And it does show you the breadth and the depth of, and we'll run it later because we are going to get ready to talk. And James, we're going to be speaking momentarily with Brother Khalid. He is a friend of the show, and we'll be speaking about the race that he's in. And so we'll get back to this, and we're going to talk to callers. The phone lines will be open momentarily, but I just wanted the people to really get a good idea of the depravity that we're dealing with here, James. These people, they really have no limit to how they'll dehumanize us.
They really don't, Ben. It puts us back in the mind frame of George Floyd's case. Same thing they did with him. They're going to try to vilify Ahmaud Arbery in every kind of way, and they don't care what they say. They just want to know. They just know that they just want to win.
Yeah.
At any means necessary. By any means necessary.
Did you see what just happened there, brother? You see we just both hit the same note at the same time. See, that's what I love about doing this work. James, go grab you some coffee, man. I'm going to talk to my brother, Khalid Kamal. He is a candidate for mayor in South Fulton. South Fulton is known as the blackest city in the country. Am I right, brother Khalid? First of all, thank you for joining us this morning. How are you?
Hey, good morning. You're absolutely right. With a 92% African-American population, we are the blackest city in America. And the 2020 census says we're getting blacker.
Getting blacker. I love the sound of that. Tell us about your race. Tell us about what's happening in that city, a city that I'm familiar with. It's such a large city. We're not talking about a small area, and we're not talking about a small population. Tell us about the city.
Yeah, not at all. South Fulton, I don't know if you all got those graphics I sent this morning. People can also just visit khalidcares.com/101. But the city of South Fulton is actually 100 square miles. I call us Atlanta's twin city. We are the same size as Atlanta. And Atlanta in the 2020 census has actually dropped below 50% a black majority. So all of the people that you really associate with the Black Mecca, from Candy from the Real Housewives to the late icon John Lewis, all of them actually live here in the city of South Fulton, which many people in history know as the SWATs. We became our own city in 2017. And what's really exciting about this election, and also what's really challenging, is that you have this new generation of leadership that is being you have these old black leaders who at one time, right, were good leaders. They actually wrestled power from racist power structures in the 70s and 80s, but now are blocking the passing of the baton to this next generation of leadership. We have India Walton in Buffalo, New York. We know that they tried to do it in Birmingham with Randall Woodfin, but he was successful. And I believe that myself and Andre Dickens, who's also running against a 20-year incumbent in Twin City, Atlanta next door, that he and I will both be successful as Generation X.
Yeah. Let me ask you specifically, as black as South Fulton is, and it is a large city, and I've driven through it quite a few times. I know it well. I also see Amazon taking over. I also see warehouses everywhere. I also see it's like it's losing that community feeling, and it seems like a big portion of it is being sold off to corporations. Talk about that for us.
Yes. So again, we talk about these leaders that have been in power for too long. In South Fulton, we are next to the world's busiest airport, Hartsfield-Jackson, and we are the county, before we became a city, and it's one of the reasons that we became a city, the county decided that our area was going to be the warehouse district, that our area was going to be the logistics and environmental hazards district, which is what happens right in the south side of a lot of communities in America, from the South Bronx to Southeast, South LA, South Chicago. You know, we don't get hospitals, we get warehouses and waste treatment plants and things like that.
Nope. I got to interject because since I don't live there, I used to live in South Fulton. I don't live there anymore. So now I can comfortably talk about it because, brother, they don't have hospitals. We had to drive 30 minutes to get to a hospital, but there's 30 dozen warehouses where I used to live. Man, please continue, because that is an epidemic and it's happening in black cities all across this country. Please, I'm sorry. I digress.
wonder, from the gentrification of Atlanta, which used to be a black mecca, to a city that now no longer has a black majority, you wonder how under all of these decades of black leadership are these black cities and these black communities not prospering. But then when you look at the electeds that, like Bill Edwards, my challenger, who's been in office for 20 years, you look down his campaign finance disclosure reports and you see that he is bought and paid for by the big corporations, by the land developers, by the warehouse developers. And then you look at his voting record and you find out that he actually approved many of these warehouses and many of these deals. He annexed a huge chunk of the city, what would be the city of South Fulton, to Union City to build warehouses, for which that mayor gave him the key to the city. So you see this black elite that used to work on behalf of black people, but now seems to be working on behalf of themselves and their families and their own personal wealth, and not for our people. Now it's just time to either have them pass the baton or our generation has to take it.
Either have to pass the baton or our generation has to take it. Brother, there's a couple of other things that that I see happening that mirrors so many other cities. I've had the pleasure of living in a lot of places, right? One of the things I see that's reflective here in, not here, there in South Fulton is the same thing that I saw when I lived in Roxbury, near the Boston area, rather. And it is, right, it is the wholesale commodification of the black community. But here's where it's happening also. The local businesses are being displaced. I know that there's some local businesses there who are now being priced out because the rents are being raised. Not just living. I'm talking about some local businesses there in South Fulton, one of whom I'm going to bring on the show because they were such a pillar in that specific community. Now, as a private business owner, a black business owner can't even afford to be in some of the communities. What are we doing about the increase? Black folks, they moved us out of Atlanta. They're starting to move us out of South Fulton little by little. What's the plan?
What's so frustrating and even more insidious than being priced out is that we are actually being pushed and policed out. We just a year ago, in the summer of 2020, talking about reimagining police and refunding our jobs programs and our social work programs and our parks programs, to now suddenly, magically, ironically, on the verge of all of these elections, we're seeing in all of these cities this supposed rise in crime. In South Fulton, where our crime has been going down by double digits for the past 2 years, our black police chief, at the behest of our black mayor, has started raiding black clubs, allegedly for violence and drugs and all of these things. They're finding minuscule amounts of drugs. But what we are seeing happening is that our mayor is campaigning on cleaning up the South Side, right? And we've seen that. We've seen this playbook in so many of our cities. Under the auspices of cleaning up, we harass black residents, we harass black businesses, we harass young black people that are on the verge, right? Like this is Generation X. So we're talking about not millennials, we're talking about those of us who are in our 30s and 40s and are ready to inherit houses and land from our parents. We're now suddenly, whether by rising taxes or just by police harassment, we are being driven out of our communities under this auspice of cleaning up. And that's really how gentrification begins, is that you get rid of the places where young black people are gathering power. So I've been working with a lot of black businesses and clubs and a lot of restaurants and restaurateurs. That is, since slavery, that was one of the first businesses that we were able to operate, right? Because black folks are going to eat, black folks are going to party. And we have really generated a lot of support in that community. So we're actually, the election is Tuesday, Monday night, it's Monday Night Football. We're going to ride out on Old Nat on the South Side. We're just going to take over the South Side and get people excited about this election. Right. We have rapper who's made a campaign song for us called Black on Purpose. You can find it on Spotify. And we're just going to get people excited about this election. What I've committed to as mayor is just supporting local businesses, small businesses, and black-owned businesses in a way that the current administration is not.
You know, Brother Khalid Kamal, he is candidate for mayor of South Fulton, Georgia, which is the blackest city in the country. I want to make sure I say it right because it's a pretty big distinction. Am I right there?
Blackest city in America.
Blackest city in America. All right, brother. Thanks so much for what you're doing. And you've given us your website. Is there anything else they need to know in order to support what you're doing and how they can get up with you?
No, just go to KhalidCares.com. Everything is there. I put the song in the chat. Love you all so much, man.
Hey, thanks so much, man. Good luck out there in that race. You know, I want to shift gears a little bit here with the time that we have left, if we have enough time to at least get one caller. And I want to push the conversation back over to Ahmaud Arbery. If we have that short clip, I want to be able to play it for the audience, and then we can come back and discuss a little bit more. I'm seeing something that our friend James, Pastor Anthony Galloway, calls the tapestry of white supremacy. And it's spread all around the country. How many black communities do you know that are suffering in some of the same ways we just got through talking about? You got warehouses, but you don't have hospitals, right? You got jobs at Amazon, but you don't have any other jobs. You know what I mean? We're serving corporate overlords. We don't have small businesses, and that's because our communities. So while we were talking about one specific city with Khalid, man, I'm pretty sure that's like almost every other black city I know of.
Yeah, absolutely, dude. And just to hear him say, like, just thinking about him, like, man, y'all are absolutely right. The closest hospital there, it's probably about, 30 miles away from the city?
Period. And I know that personally. When I lived there, I had to take a family member to the hospital, and it took the ambulance 30 minutes to get to us and 30 minutes to get back to the hospital. Thank goodness it wasn't a cardiac emergency. Right. But there are warehouses on every corner in that city. And I see this, this is the same thing. Whenever I used to walk through Broxbury or drive through going to the studio that was there, it was warehouses in the middle of what used to be thriving black communities. And I'm afraid that's what's going to happen in so many other cities. So that said, DJ Exclusive, let's do this. Rebecca Azor is out today. She's out today because she got started earlier on her Thanksgiving break, on her holiday break. She had a rough time yesterday. So I was like, you know what, sis, take the day. So let's go to break. When we come back, we're coming back with Like It or Not. We're going to go through all that other media that we have, and we're just going to kick it, and then we'll see everybody, because this is our last show before we take a break. We have some specials that we'll be running on Wednesday, Thursday, and something on Friday. But as far as our live show, we got to take a break too. So James, take us to break. We'll be back right after this.
Hey. So y'all make sure that y'all stay tuned. We got Like It or Not coming up next with your boy Benjamin Dixon and myself, James Bubba Williams. Dwayne's gonna get on camera too, I heard. No, I'm just playing. But the voice got to be in there as well too. Let's David. Y'all make sure y'all stay tuned, man. Is Midnight Hour by Yale Feldinger. Again, this is Midnight. I'm sorry, y'all. This is Midnight Hour by Deep Sea. That's what it is. Midnight Hour by Deep Sea. Let me see what I got here for this here. You need to be able to record that behind the scenes footage. I already know you. That's funny.
Like It or Not with Benjamin Dixon starts now.
Good morning, good morning, good morning.
Oh, man. Look here. Good morning and welcome to Like It or Not, where we're free to tell the truth.
And not care who doesn't like it. See, I almost forgot.
It is Tuesday, November 25th, 2021. Thanks so much for joining us. Rebecca Azor is away taking the day, which means she's taking the rest of the week because we're not going to be here live the rest of this week. I'm just letting folks know right now. We're going to take some time off. But that doesn't mean we're not going to bring them some stuff. There will be community this week. So what are your plans for the holiday this week, man?
Man, that's very funny because I was going to tell y'all today that we decided to take a last minute road trip, so we're driving down to Florida for Thanksgiving. So we're leaving after the show. I'm glad
I canceled the rest of the week.
It worked out. I was just like, oh, that's perfect. That's my brother. No,
you don't even have to call me.
I know that big ass head had that information and knowledge. He a clairvoyant over there. Look at him.
Man, listen, man. No, we have something in common. We like to take breaks. I'm done with trying to prove. Dude, I used to stream every single day, a couple of hours a day by myself. So I've learned the value of taking a break. But speaking of streaming back in the day when I used to do this by myself, I believe we have a caller on the line who probably is the most original caller of all callers because he's been calling me since 2000 and I don't know, since like 1996. He's been calling my show. Bryce is on the line. Brother Bryce, are you there? How you doing, man?
Bryce.
Hey, what's going on? What's going on with you guys? Y'all good? Ben, everybody?
Yes, sir. Good morning to you.
It's good to hear your voice, man. How you doing?
I'm doing good. I want to let you guys know I'm going to get married next year.
Wow. Congratulations, my man. Congratulations.
That's you know what, man? Y'all plug your ears real quick because that's worthy of a...
There it is. Brother Bryce, congratulations, man. Congratulations. That's awesome news. What else is going on? What's on your mind this morning?
Oh, I just wanted to say real fast that I hope that, we do get a guilty verdict, which we'll probably get next week in terms of Ahmaud Arbery, because if we don't, we want to burn this mofo down. I want to burn it down, because if they let them boys off, burn it down. Bring it on.
Listen, it is,
bring it on.
Bryce, it is required by custom and law that I say, we don't condone violence, right? I'm required to say that I have to repudiate what you just said, Bryce, because that type of stuff can't go across our airwaves, Bryce. But I do understand the sentiment because, it's one thing we expected fully for Kyle Rittenhouse to get off.
Y'all, gotta go.
Hey, okay. See you later.
That's that. I'm at work right now and I'm sneaking to make this phone call, so I gotta hang it. I gotta go. I've done that plenty of times.
That was. Oh, my wife came in the room. I gotta go.
Okay, gotta go.
That was. Let's go down the list.
I love
so many different scenarios.
Scenarios.
So this might be.
I feel so slighted, Bryce. I feel cheated here, Bryce.
This might be off a little bit, but when that happened, I thought about God, what was the movie?
Color Purple.
Granny don't. No.
Gotta go.
Never mind.
You know what remind you of? That baby, the meme of the baby running around the corner and say, "Oh, look, turn around, gotta go." This man, Bryce, thanks for the call, man. Only you can call in and do that to us. The phone lines are open. Man, I don't have the number in front of me. If you could put it in the chat for me. So it's a new number, but it is also in all of the different chat rooms. Click on the call-in number and then click on the meeting ID to join the conversation. We do want to know what you feel about the various trials that are going on, or rather the Ahmaud Arbery trial that's happening and the aftermath of the Kyle Rittenhouse. I don't know if you've been watching it, man, but they're really making this guy out to be their Lord and Savior. savior of white supremacy.
Oh my gosh, bro! And I can't say what I want to say. I just hope he feels very uncomfortable in public. I hope he's not ever able to show his face again in public, because he's just going to feel so uncomfortable. The eyes are going to be on him so hard. But this is going to show all those white supremacists that are going to come up and try to stick beside him. I'm like, you know what? Just be quiet. I'm not in this good old people's Beyonce's internet. Won't do it today.
No, we got to wait till we at the actual physical location. Like there's stuff that we will say at the club, like when we do the live show, that we won't say on the live stream. We're gonna save some of that for that, because looking at the way they lift up Kyle Rittenhouse, and then the very next week, I want to run that clip again, even if we don't have the short one. I want to run the full one of the defense attorneys in their closing statements, because you got to be a certain kind of evil to go as far as they went. There's one thing to provide for your defendant, your client, a robust defense. We all expect for you to do that. But what these attorneys did was they reveled in the bile of white supremacy as their get out of jail free card for their murderous clients. Let's take a listen to the clip.
In the wrong direction. Turning Ahmaud Arbery into a victim after the choices that he made does not reflect the reality of what brought Ahmaud Arbery to Satilla Shores in his khaki shorts with no socks to cover his long, dirty toenails.
The mother of Ahmaud Arbery said she stormed out and she said, I got to get away from this effing evil SHIT. Because that's exactly what it is. It's evil, James. The caller asked yesterday, how far will they go with their depravity? There's no limit to it. This honorable woman decided to attack him with all of the racist tropes that she could possibly think of in her small Neanderthalish mind, and decided to kill him all over again.
And the khaki shorts, I don't know if that was supposed to be a hit at black people. Baby, that's white folks stuff right there. That they can play that in the golf course. That's not what we do. I don't. Some of that stuff, I just like I said, man. They will say any and everything. Any and everything.
Anything
doesn't make any sense at all. Just to make it sound like whatever. And I mean, come on, y'all. If y'all wake up and think that this stuff is like real or whatever, man, this is all games to them. It's all games.
That's right. This is one big game for them, James. They're sitting back laughing how much they can do with their pocket change. Like, they're rich people behind this, to be sure. I want to play this next clip. It's going to get a little bit worse. B2. Defense attorney Gold calling what's happening to his clients, the McMichaels, a lynching. Now, the insult to injury is what their clients literally did to Ahmaud Arbery is a literal lynching. But let's watch the clip.
This is what a public lynching looks like in the 21st century, with all due respect. They don't have to have 10,000 people outside. They don't have to have 100,000 people outside. Perception is reality. They haven't put a podium up outside with a hangman's noose on it. Doesn't mean that this isn't a trial, despite the best efforts of this court. This isn't a trial that's been infected by mob violence of a woke left mob.
They. Who is they, man? Who is they? At this point in America and everything else, y'all just say what the hell y'all want to say, man. Just go ahead and say it. They niggers, they black folks, they African Americans. Just say the shit. Y'all just they. Who's they outside? They can put up a podium with a noose on it. Just say who the F it is. Because at this point, that's all y'all doing. We know who pulled up outside in front of that damn building, and I guarantee you, let that verdict not go the damn way it's supposed to be. You think that's 100 pastors outside right now? Brunswick, Georgia is going to be freaking full of black folks come next week. I guarantee it.
And Guff did go farther yesterday. I thought I had the clip, but I don't see it now. So for one thing, there was, I forget who it was, but one of the pastors that attended the event on Thursday did go on to CNN after the event, Ben, and said that they feel almost that the request for mistrial and calling out all of this stuff and making these claims and using this language is a way to get people to act out, to force a mistrial. Basically, they're almost looking to produce results or to produce behavior by saying this type of stuff. And yesterday,
that's exactly right.
He pointed out that I guess supposedly Black Panthers or associated groups were outside the courthouse with like coffins and guns and stuff.
Well, so of course that's what he wants. And that's exactly what he's trying to do. I don't have the report. What's that report you said about the Black Panthers being like some affiliated group? Because yesterday
he asked again.
There's no current
mistrial because of what he was claiming was going on outside.
No, I got that part. I'm just saying. Yeah, no, I'm just saying if there's any media coverage of the group that he was talking about being there.
I only had him asking for the mistrial and describing it.
But that said, they might actually just get what they want, right? I know most of the time we like to engage in rhetorical chess and do strategery, like George W. Bush said. But sometimes the people ain't got time for your games, and they're going to give you exactly what you want, Attorney Go. So I would be careful in that regard to not provoke the people. I'm sure he pretends to be a God-fearing man. The Bible says provoke not the people to wrath. It would be against your best interests as an attorney, as a good standing Christian to do that. That said, I want to move to another clip. I want to go to the prosecutors. Go ahead.
Do you see how uncomfortable this judge is? Like when he starts talking, I don't know if y'all paid attention to that. The judge just looks so uncomfortable up there with him saying all of this stuff. He's just like oh my gosh,
he's fed up with him. He's been on. Yeah, he's fed up with him.
Because it's all a part of the game. You have to understand, like, this guy Go is not the real defense attorney. He's not. The other attorneys that are around him, they're the defense attorneys. He's the dog. And this is not to make the other defense attorneys any better, right? Because we just got through hearing from them. We hear how insidious they all are. They're all drenched in white supremacy. They're all savage barbarians. They have no compunction about killing a person twice in order to get their clients off. And again, I understand a robust defense, but she's reveling. She's enjoying this. She's been waiting to say this kind of evil, vile, sadistic shit about black people.
Right.
I'll pay that $100. Here we go. Let's get to the prosecutor's closing statement. Day one prosecutor's closing statement in the Ahmaud Arbery trial. Let's take a look at that.
Travis McMichael, who fired the fatal shots, his father Gregory McMichael, who was also armed that day, and their neighbor William Roddy Bryan, who police say joined the chase and recorded the video. They're hoping that they've convinced jurors that they were making a citizen's arrest. Prosecutors told jurors that the law requires the men to have immediate knowledge of something that Ahmaud Arbery did wrong, and none of them saw him steal anything at the neighborhood construction site.
And they made their decision to attack Ahmaud Arbery in their driveways because he was a black man running down the street. If you are the initial unjustified aggressor, you don't get to claim self-defense. You're probably going to hear this. Yes, we pointed a shotgun at him to get him to comply with our orders. Not sure why anyone should comply with their orders to stop and talk to us, but there was no reason for him to defend himself against us. They attacked him, they shot and killed him. They never, ever said on February 23rd, 2020, that they were doing a citizen's arrest.
James, there's so much more to this that I want to talk about. We have a caller, Gus from New Jersey. I want to bring you into the conversation. What are your thoughts and your comments?
Yes. Good morning, Benjamin and James. How you guys doing today?
Good morning. Doing great.
Good morning. Excuse me.
Good. Yeah. So I wanted to talk about, first off, I wanted to add on to what you were talking about before about how repugnant the defense attorney is, particularly when the one attorney was talking about the black pastors and everything, and how the other lady lawyers were making these faces when he first mentioned that last week.
That's right.
Meanwhile, she came around yesterday and talked about
deadliest of blows.
Ahmaud Arbery. Hello?
Yeah, no, I'm agreeing with you. Go for it.
Yeah, but she also came out today, the other day, and talked about Ahmaud Arbery's dirty nails, and we're describing one in such a way. So, I was trying to figure out, like, where is her mentality? If she felt that was weird for him to say that, why should she say that? Also,
okay. Let me get a correction here. My producer is saying that that's not the same lady, but it's pretty close in proximity in terms of space. Like I don't trust anybody that's sitting behind that bench anymore. Like I don't care how they put their hands in their face. All of them are guilty, in my opinion. But go ahead, brother.
No. Thank you for that correction. I appreciate that, and that's my mistake. Mm-hmm. Nonetheless, it's still repugnant altogether. And what really sticks to my craw is the judge, the way the judge is treating this defense, juxtaposed to the judge treating the prosecution in the Kyle Rittenhouse case. You see how at every turn that judge was nasty to the prosecution, and this judge here is being nice with these guys, saying these things about lynching when their clients were the ones actually doing the lynching. It's almost unreal to see the two different judges treat these cases.
Absolutely, Gus. Listen, man, you hit the nail on the head. Thank you so much for that call. James, absolutely right, man. Like you see the range that these prosecutors, or rather these defense attorneys, are afforded, and the ability to just do this. It's just a stark contrast, man. Like, if folks don't see it by now, they just don't want to see it.
Oh, yeah, most definitely. If they don't see it by now, they really just don't want to see it, dude. They're turning a blind eye, is what we call it.
Yeah,
and they just acting stupid, act like you don't see it.
I got one more clip. This is a clip of friend of the show, Cliff Albright. He did something, and this is a clip that I was able to get last week. We were there with the pastors, the 200 pastors. And you're right, James, if they mess around here, they're going to have more than 200 pastors. They have 100,000 black people down there. But this is a clip of a friend of our show, Cliff Albright from Black Voters Matter. And he's talking about in this clip why it's necessary to be there. Right, to physically be there for those who can be there. Let's take a listen to him talking about how we have to give and bear witness to these things happening in history.
We got to fight the voting rights battle, but the reason we got to fight the voting rights battle is because that's how we get motion and action and justice on all these other issues, whether it's housing or economic justice or criminal justice and policing and accountability and issues like this, right? And so that's why I'm here. Our organization has been here. We were actually in Brunswick and Glenn County in this area before the Ahmaud Arbery murder, lynching, right? We've been here since that time, supporting the families, supporting the local organizations here, supporting the GOTV efforts, supporting the effort that ultimately got out the DA, Jackie Johnson, and made her lose her job, right? We told her, you about to lose her job, and sure enough, by the time the election was over, that's what happened. So we've been doing this work because that's what movement looks like, right? We got to be here for this issue and this trial and what's happening during these weeks. We're about getting justice in this trial, but also getting justice on all the other issues that this community is facing. A lot of people don't know they got a mayor's race going on right now. Issues around Confederate monuments and housing and street debates and all of that is on the ballot right now. If you really want to support this community, we need to be present for this trial because we got to bear witness, right? You got to be present to tell the story around what's happening, because if you don't tell the story, then nobody can appreciate the miracle that happens, right? Every time the defense attorneys points out transformative justice or black pastors, right, or files a motion, they filed about 7 different motions just to get rid of Barbara and Darryl from being out here. Every time the defense spends some time talking about them bearing witness, guess what? That's a minute less that they got defending the lies that they telling up in this courthouse. So let them focus on transformative justice and pastors and Black Voters Matter if they want to, because every minute that we bear witness and we force them to lose and be distracted, then guess what? That brings us one step closer to getting justice for our brother Ahmaud and for his entire family.
That's right. That's right. So yeah, let's see. Here's the thing, James. I'm so tired of being on the defense. Right. I'm so tired of us responding to them. Let's make them respond to us. Yeah, we are going to show up, and we're going to make a spectacle of it. Let's talk to Casey. Casey's on the line from Arkansas. Casey, thank you for calling. What's on your mind?
Okay, well, can y'all hear me? I'm not sure. I have my TV muted.
Yeah. No, we can hear you. Good morning. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing well. I just wanted to say that it's really interesting to me how the evangelical right, how quick they are to worship white supremacy, considering all of the dogma, that they have against false prophets and false idols. But the first time somebody shows up and they're like, I want to continue making white supremacy a thing, they love it. They love it. But I also want to say that I am optimistic because although it's a morbid analogy, when things die, when they're dying, that's when they really get violent, trying to save themselves. And that's what white supremacy is seeing right now. That's why they're so outlandish, is because they are trying so hard to stay in. It's the most important thing to them.
I love that analogy. I thank you, Casey, so much.
Yes, thank you, Casey.
James, I call it the death pangs. The death pangs of white supremacy. Yeah. They're on their way out.
Exactly.
They're on their way. Because, Casey, the best that they have at this point, their hero is Kyle Rittenhouse.
That's
encouraged. They don't have a bright
How sad
future.
would that be for that to be your person, how sad would it be to be like, this is the one. That's the
He's
guy.
Their savior.
I mean, surely there's somebody better.
Or Tucker Carlson for that matter, right? They have a really, they're not the Barry Goldwaters. They're not the William F. Buckleys. They're not the brightest tools in the shed. So the fact that they are on their death pangs, but they are dangerous, right? Just because they're laughable doesn't mean that they're not dangerous. So I want everyone to keep that in mind while we mock them, because they're not supreme. They're desperate to maintain that power, like you were saying, Casey. Get the last word there, Casey.
Well, I guess for the last word, I would just like to say that I love your show so much. Oh, and I did see that Facebook is trying to take your page away. And, you are definitely doing it right if you're pissing people off.
Exactly.
Well, thank you, Casey. We appreciate you. Thanks so much. Anyone else wants to get in on the call? 301, I think I have the phone number here now, 301-715-8592. It's also on our screen below. It's also attached to all the chat rooms. You can call in and give your comment and or question. James, Casey just laid that out. She said these evangelicals, they sure are quick to worship some white supremacy.
Absolutely. She said it perfect, dude. It's just like, most definitely. That's exactly what they're doing. Yeah. It's just like, okay, so now y'all are trying to do any and everything because y'all know y'all falling off. And soon at one point, dude, I really think it's going to be one of those things that we're not going to take any of that BS. And it's just going to be it anymore.
James, we normally go a whole hour. That's because Rebecca's here and she's usually filling up a lot of this time with all of her stories. I got to stretch, man. I'm an old man. Can we take a quick break? And when we come back, we're going to be talking about this clip from Nicole Hannah-Jones as she breaks down exactly why they fear critical race. Go ahead, Dwayne. Oh, man, I'm trying to get up a straight. All right, caller, you're live on the air.
This ain't gonna take too long. Luke Kane, tell him what's on your mind, bro.
Oh, Luke Kane, what's up, man?
Hey, what's going on, y'all? Just
very
like
white on the line. How's it going, brother?
Right. I was just saying, like, I feel you about, it's time for us to go on the offensive because these two cases are making it quite clear. Like, they're trying to set the legal precedence that is going to tell black people, remember your place in the case of Ahmaud Arbery's case, his murderous case. Right. And then to let any white people that have too much proximity to black folks to remember their place with the Rittenhouse case. So in terms of going on the offensive, like, I think we got to start with those who are considering themselves to be aligned with us, like, and that being the Democratic Party, which is we know that they can't win anything without us. They can't win dog catcher without us. So it's time that we lead up. I know it's not enough time between now and the nearest midterms and general election for us to form a full-blown black political party, but I think it is enough time to form a black political delegation in the mode of like a Fannie Lou Hamer type of deal, where if we can show that we can peel off enough votes from them, we just have to be able to make the case to our own people for our own people. Like, hey, in these these polls, these preliminary polls and stuff, put down that you'll vote for whatever candidate is endorsed by the black political delegation, or that you just won't be voting for the Democrat, or you'll be abstaining. Let them know ahead of time that they'll lose, and then watch all of a sudden, they legislative agenda switches up.
Man, listen.
But that's what I'm just saying. We got to go offensive. Yeah.
Luke King, I love the idea. I love the name too. I love the initials. The Black Political Delegation. That's what we should call it, BPD. Thanks so much. Thanks so much for that call, Luke King.
I'm about to say, Luke King, before you go, everybody's asking you to say it's about to go down for the like and the not so.
It's about to go. Wait, hold on. It's about to go down. I don't know. I got.
There it is.
Hey, look, I need to get Luke Kane to rap a verse on the remix, and then I need Chuck Diesel to rap a verse on the remix.
There it is. We love it. Hey, appreciate you, brother. You be safe out there. Now, DJ Exclusive, I need to stretch. I need to get my old bones and move these old bones. Can these old bones live? We're gonna see.
Man,
Let's do a quick break. When we come back, critical race thing.
Y'all make sure y'all stay tuned, man. We got some more coming up. I hope his mic was on. Everybody heard him. He's talking about my back. Sound like an old man.
I think tonight I'm gonna make it mine. I stepped out, stepping on next.
All right, so if y'all want to call in, you can. I'm sorry, I said 301-715-8592. 301-715-8592. Y'all make sure y'all call in, man. It's appearing at the top of all the tests wherever we stream from, so you can call in as well.
That's a bitch move. Press that I arrive, mad that I survive. All your sad attempts to send me to the sky. But I've been in the wind.
Tractor Tasha, good morning.
Oh, yes.
Shout out, Brother Luke King. Brother Lateef, I know you somewhere in the building as well. Brother Lateef, good morning to you. Laura hasn't been around. Where is Laura? And Savage Sweetheart. That's okay. Jazz Montazzo, good morning.
And look deep down inside. And soon you will find a pretty soul that needs more shine. My world has come together. And maybe I just wanna let it shine. There is no good or better. I think tonight I'm gonna make it mine. 1, 2, mean right hook. Come and test me, my mob beat will have you shook. It's a marathon, but baby girl, never let up. No need for speed, but keep your foot up on the gas pedal. Ain't worried about having a golden award when God made me to be an ice cold medal. Why are you always pressed about my life? Talking with your frenemies about me, saying, ooh, girl, have you seen it like the shy lights? You tried, but you could never dim my light. Please know I'm untouchable, girl. I'll slip through your fingers like a real fly kite. Why you wanna turn a good day into?
That's right, Marshall Reese. It's Sagittarius season. Woo! December 8th, man. Shout out to our birthdays in the chat room. December 8th right here, y'all. This is 2 weeks.
Yes. That drama. I put the work in. Now I got the big bags that you call
Birkin. Man, my flashlight died. I'm delighted.
And maybe I just wanna let it shine. There is no good or bad.
Y'all welcome back to the screen, Benjamin Dixon. And while he's coming in, Ben.
Yo, what up, man?
Hey, did you hear about the chameleon who couldn't change color?
He was decolored? I don't know what happened.
No, he had a reptile dysfunction.
Oh, hey, Bubba. So
that's high quality dad joke.
I can officially get in on the dad jokes with you.
Yes,
and we're gonna have to have a dad joke off one day.
Yes.
Congratulations, the voice of God in the background, Dwayne.
And Ben got to get in there too.
Is a proud new papa.
Ben got to get in.
What's that?
Please don't put Ben in there.
my whole life is a dad joke. Okay, my entire life is a dad joke. So I'm gonna leave those to y'all too. I honestly don't want to talk about any more politics. But we will. Here we go. Y'all gonna let me get out of politics? Will they set me? What do I got to do to get free of politics, man? I just don't want to talk about this stuff anymore. It's evil. It's like these people are going to destroy humanity, and I got to sit here and give commentary about it every day. I just kind of want to run out into the snow and never come back some days.
Man, there's so much other stuff to talk about, Ben. You ain't got to. You just go on Twitter one day and just pick a topic and talk about it. I think they'll be like, wait, Ben's not talking about politics? And then they're going to start thinking like, well, I'm not used to this. Ben's not, and it's not politics. Talk about politics now. Please talk about politics. No, we ain't talking about it. What happens when the politics are gone?
Right. David, you don't know me that well. Get out my pocket, man. Get your hands out my pocket. Speaking of not politics, Kanye West. I hate you, David. He thinks he knows me so well. Kanye West is making an overture towards Drake. Now, you could tell me more about this because I punched out of hip hop circa 2008, the Carter 3. I know it inside and out. I felt like hip hop was in good hands with Lil Wayne and Drake. I didn't pick up hip hop again until Certified Lover Boy. They've been doing pretty good, man. Drake is on this is the golden era of Drake. I just don't know if I'm comfortable with him being cool with Kanye because Kanye ain't got them all and his politics are even worse.
Man,
his music is great. I love Kanye's music. I love his music. His Donda was pretty dope to me, but the boy is off.
So, man, all of them off. But Kanye, you got to understand. Kanye he has some issues. Since his mom died, first of all, Kanye was never right to begin with going into it. Even when Graduation or any of his other stuff came out, Kanye was never there. So now after his mom passed, it's just like he's screaming for help. This man is screaming for help, literally. So, but his music is still good. I don't listen to Ye for anything else but music.
So
music. That's it. Donda's off the chain.
So I agree that Kanye has been a little off lately, but y'all should go listen to the interview he did on Drink Champs with Nori.
He's still a little off.
But he's saying a lot of things, man. You just gotta listen. It's sometimes.
Oh Lord, Dwayne, you starting to sound
things.
Like one of them. You got to do your own research, people.
No, not even. Sometimes it's. I'm just speaking on the interview he did on Drink Champs. Sometimes it's you got to listen to the message and not the messenger. So it's one of those type of things. So just if you
tell me what resonated. What can you recall? What message resonated from Kanye that stood out and said, okay, he might be off, but this is a good point.
Just all like it was a lot of the undertones of like just ownership and how things like that. But it was a long, 3+ hours.
But,
so
I mean, and I listened to a lot of it. I listened to a lot of it, and I guess I don't know. Like, he made some good points about ownership, but he don't give credit to nobody on this. I don't know any of the guests on his album. You got to play a guessing game, like whose voice is that? He doesn't give credit. Every song, it doesn't matter if there's 12 artists on that song. It's just going to say Kanye.
But a lot of people are doing that now. If you look at the albums that are coming out recently, a lot of people are doing that. Like, if you look at the track list, it doesn't show who the features are. You got to actually go listen to it, or they'll put it out weeks after the album has come out.
Weeks after, and you'll have to go on the internet and research it. It's several artists that do that now. They don't put out their guest features anymore. Yeah. But you got to understand, Ben.
Big Sean,
you got to
understand. Complained about that. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, you got to understand. It's a way to make money, because then, and I like it that way, because once you listen to a track, you don't know who the hell's going to be on there. Beyonce does the same thing. You don't know who Beyonce about having a track with her. She just dropped that damn album, and then boom, it's going to blow up. Same thing with Kanye did. Yeah. Granted, he did that previously, but with this one, it's like, especially the deluxe version, it's like 30-something tracks. Man, I ain't about to put all y'all asses' name on this damn thing. Y'all know who it is when you listen to it. Now, the person that he did give a shout out to and put the album list on there was Andre 3000. Now you gotta understand, they still get credit.
That's right.
They still gonna get their money, but you just ain't on that track listing. Now, when he put Andre 3000 on there, he had to pay respect where respect was due for that one, because that's some money.
Yeah, he had to, man.
That's attorneys too.
Speaking of that 3000 verse, that Andre,
oh my gosh, bro,
GOAT, man,
GOAT.
So that I don't know what else to say, but
there's nothing else to say.
Life for the party. That's all I know to say about that.
Let's do it. We may as well. And we're not going to do all time, because if we talk about all time, we'll be naming so many MCs that are no longer with us. Who's your top 3 living right now? Who wants to go first? Or even top 5, if it makes it easier. Top 5 living right now.
In no order, Kanye, Jay-Z, Drake goes in there just because, like, I'm not feeling like the slow Drake. Certified Lover Boy, it took me so long to get into Certified Lover Boy. City Girls. Oh, man. I'm a City Girls fan. And I'm trying to think about who my 5th one is.
Oh, man.
Summer Walker. I'll put Summer Walker up there. But, that's... Oh, you said hip-hop, though. I still put Summer Walker in. Her album's nice as hell.
Okay, so you have a nice mix. You cross over, not just I see where you're mixing through. Dwayne, what's your top 3 or top 5?
So Jay-Z, I don't know what order. This isn't really an order, but my top 5 is got to be Jay-Z. J. Cole is in there.
Damn, let's say.
Yeah.
Drake is probably in there.
It's hard.
I think Andre 3000 is in there, even though he's not so active. And then probably to round out my top 5 would be Big Crit.
Nice. Dang, I forgot about Big Crit.
See, this is why you don't have this conversation. I don't even know why I just did this to myself, because now my 5th is I had to put Black Thought in there. I got to put Andre in there. Jay-Z gets in there by honorable mention just because he's Jay-Z. Jay-Z gets a little bit lazy with his lyrics sometimes. I'm starting to notice a lot more. I don't know if I'm putting Drake in there or his ghostwriter in there. Whoever is actually coming up with some of Drake's stuff is a master. If it's Drake, salute, brother. If it's your ghostwriter, pay that person well. And I'm gonna be honest with you. High key, Meg Thee Stallion got some. I'm gonna throw an audible here. I'm gonna put Meg Thee Stallion in there because I rock with her lyrically before I did all the twerking she did. Like lyrically, I was like, who is this person?
Her freestyles, like her freestyle Fridays or Mondays, whatever it is. Like I went back and listened to some of her freestyles before she blew up. Man, Meg got bars. And let me take Summer Walker out because Summer Walker's not hip hop. Let me put Meg Thee Stallion in that place right there. Thank you, brother.
I would see Meg go toe to toe with the best of them. I would love to see Meg go toe to toe with like just any Jay-Z. Like let's go bar for bar with Jay, because I think like lyrically, her syncopation, her rhythm, her emphasis, her enunciation. Megan is bad.
5 is hard to do though. I mean, because there's so many people that get left out. Like because there's so many people, like the people that y'all mentioned. You got Rhapsody. To me, she's probably the top female in my opinion right now. There's just so many that get left out doing 5. Yeah, so I don't say Kendrick right now only because he ain't really been active. Like once he drops the project that's coming, he might get back in there. But for right now,
you're using metrics.
You know, what I mean?
Metrics as well. Yeah. Well, in that case, I got to take Black Thought out. I mean, not that he's not active, but I'm talking like we're talking about like. Are we including perform? Anyway, so this is why you don't have this conversation.
There's so many. Like if you just talking about bars, like you got Griselda, you got them dudes that's killing every time they on anything.
Ain't nobody mentioned Eminem.
Jadakiss. Matter of fact, Jadakiss is in my top 5. Never had a whack verse ever. Like there's so many that get left out if you just doing 5.
And then we're talking about living because, I mean. If we go through the pantheon of the ancestors, man, we got some God MCs to say the least. Let's shift back to politics real quick. Nicole Hannah-Jones, who is the founder or one of the lead journalists of the 1619 Project, wanted to break down critical race theory and the Republican or conservative strategy against it. Let's take a listen to that clip real quick.
Do you want to see something kind of wild? This is a graphic we created showing coverage on Fox News of CRT before the elections in Virginia and after. You're going to see, of course, 160 or so mentions in the week before the election, and then just about 30 mentions this week. So clearly, there was an attempt right before the off-year elections to stoke concern about race and how it's being taught in schools. And now, much less talk in recent days because there's no election happening. What I wonder, though, is, Nicole, do you feel like you're part of this political drama where you've got Democrats running around worrying that there's too much talk about wokeness and they're going to have to change that for the midterms? Do you feel like you're partly responsible or partly part of that story?
Well, let me say I appreciate you showing that graphic because what I and many others have been saying is this always was a propaganda campaign. It was designed to, this anti-critical race theory was designed to stoke white resentment. It was designed to kind of put progressives back on their heels and to defend something that wasn't happening. And it was designed to drive white suburban people to the polls for Republicans. And in some degrees, it's been successful. Do I feel responsible for that? Absolutely not. A project that is seeking journalistically to force us to grapple with our history cannot be responsible for bad faith actors deciding that they are going to try to whip up white resentment. In fact, if you read the 1619 Project, you know that race has been the oldest wedge issue in America, and it still works.
That's right. And it's wild. I'm listening to her. They're trying to blame. They're trying to say because she was one of the lead journalists and the lead thought creators of the 1619 Project, that the subsequent response from these white supremacists, which has been, oh my God, critical race theory is an abomination. That's the response. They're trying to say that this sister is responsible for it, but for the white supremacist response. And I love how she said it. She said, no, we're not responsible for the adverse reaction from these, she didn't say barbarians, but I'm going to say barbarians. They're going to do it anyway. They're going to react negatively anyway. They're going to lie. That's what gaslighters do. Gaslighters gaslight. And that's what conservatives, that's what they're doing all over this country, man. Excuse me. JP from Michigan. I think I know. Thank you. I think I know who this is. JP, what's going on, my brother?
Man, why is it that you going to change up from the top 5 on me and go to some critical race theory? Top 5. Tupac.
Give me your top 5.
Scarface. Ice Cube. Rakim or KRS-One. I'm sketchy on who get in.
That's the old school right there, boy.
You threw in one of the deceased. That's why I didn't want to include the deceased, because you talking about Tupac and Biggie, they already going to take up 2 of the top 5. But that's a good list you got there, brother JP. What's on your mind?
I'll go ahead and honor it right then. I'll take out Tupac and I'll let Chris come in with my philosophy. So here's what I would say, and this is this. So here's the cue on where we are right now, right? So I expect those who don't agree with wrestling with the issue of racism to find ways to do this. And to be honest with you, the Republicans are just way better at messaging than the Democrats are. They do a great job, and they fall in line when the word comes out. They do. They fall in line. The issue that I have sometimes is that our supposedly Democratic colleagues find a way to try to just do enough, but never push back forcefully enough to try to change the narrative. They're more or less saying, okay, well, this is messing up what the rest of our agenda is, which I don't know what their agenda is for black people anyway. I really want to go back to this whole idea of voting. I'm really concerned that are we being bamboozled by the idea that if we don't vote, nothing changes? Because even when we do vote, nothing seems to change. There's always a reason or a rationale why we always end up in the same spot. You and I both know we've had plenty of conversations on why I struggle to not vote for Joe Biden. And it literally has, I'm not afraid of what could happen. Because at the end of the day, it's already happening regardless of how I vote. These folks do what's best for them. And that's where my struggle comes in at. As far as this idea of CRT, of course. Well, there's some issues with the 1619 project, possibly. But at the end of the day, the goal is how do we have a critical conversation about race that people won't get offended and that we stay at the table enough to deal with it. Because, you know, some of y'all youngsters, y'all love to cancel people. They don't answer the way y'all want to, they go. And they just see, poof,
right?
Poof, just go.
And
just all of a sudden.
But my thing is, how do we ever get the change without it? I'll listen now to hear what you got to say before I hang up. It's just good being on the line with you again, my brother.
Hey, brother, it's always good to hear from you, man. What's refreshing, James, is to recall how smart my audience always has been. Like, high key, I learned a lot from my audience. Like, you know, I might consider myself to be one of the smartest people in the game, but it's because I had a chance for years to listen to the audience, give feedback, and talk like this. And what I hear Brother JP saying from Michigan, he's saying, you can't scare us with the possibility of another Trump when you haven't improved the situations since you got power from Trump the first time. Right. It's not going to work in 2022 or 2024.
And JP said it right, man. It's just like, yeah, they try to get us by like, all right, if you don't vote, nothing's going to change. Hell, we still vote. And ain't a damn thing changed. That thing echoed, boy. I'm like, damn, JP.
Yeah, man. So, yeah, the audience is smart. We're smart because we have a symbiotic relationship with our audience. They correct us. They show us. They talk to us. And that's why I'm glad we have these phone lines open. Please click the call. And even conservatives. I think I'm going to get a separate number in the future just for conservatives. I'm thinking I might make it just for black conservatives. But we'll see. And I only want to do that to piss off white conservatives. But I digress.
Right. Hey, and shout out real quick to Industrial Arts Denver, man. He says, who said the super chat saying, ask them, does my oppression offend you? And that's what it feels like.
That was the other thing. There's something else that the callers are pointing at. He said, we need to be able to connect with them without offending them. Now, this is the question. This is the proposition here, folks. Before I want to get to Jeremiah from Omaha next. But here's a proposition. How do you accomplish not offending people who have made a science of being offended? They will always be offended, which is why I'm going to take great joy in offending them over the next couple of years. God, give me strength. Jeremiah from Omaha, tell us what's on your mind.
Hey, how's it going, guys? First of all, I would like to offer a counterpoint to Bubba talking about not listing artists' features on albums. As someone who discovered hip hop, kind of on his own, I find that super helpful because that's how I find new artists. And to go back to what you were talking about, Ahmaud Arbery case, that disgusting. Oh my gosh! I mean, I watched that clip. I think it was Friday. That and this sort of zeitgeist of CRT. I can't help but think. I'm sure y'all remember the whole Willie Horton thing in the 80s.
Oh yeah, the Willie Horton ad. George H.W. Bush, I believe.
Yeah, and that's kind of that's the vibe I get. It's they're trying to create a caricature of Ahmaud Arbery, which is disgusting for one. It's not fair for two. And then I think lastly, as far as CRT goes, I am a grad student. I'm actually in seminary, but I'm in a graduate program at a evangelical seminary of all places. But
yeah, God bless you, brother. I'm praying for you.
It's fun being taught by old white men. But anyway, here's the thing about CRT, and this is for people who aren't familiar, who need confirmation about how advanced that is. I've been studying theory itself as part of textual criticism and fun stuff like that. I didn't even see critical race theory in a book until I started reading about disability theory, and that was 3 months ago. And I've been on my academic journey since 2009. So it's not. That's common. A great point. It's not taught. It's not taught unless you are in the field in which it's taught. And even then, especially in an evangelical seminary, it's not taught at all. So, there's that as well.
And it's not taught at all. Yeah. Hey, Jeremiah, that's a powerful name, man. Thanks so much thanks so much for that call and that information and that perspective, right? That's the thing, James. Is that I'm hoping that a lot of more good white people, white people of good faith. And notice I'm not saying white liberals. I'm not saying white progressives. I'm not saying white conservatives. I'm saying white folks who could just see what wrong is wrong.
Right.
And an injustice is an injustice. I believe that this Kyle Rittenhouse decision is going to open the eyes of a lot of other people who were like, is America really racist? And now they see it and like, oh, hell yeah, this country is racist AF. Yeah.
I don't know how y'all see that. And yeah, Jeremiah, thank you again for your call. But yeah, you're right. Going back to what you said about the track listing, because I will say, and I will admit that, Ben, you saw it too. I will admit that listening to Kanye's album, like if it wasn't for a friend listening with me, I would have not known half of the people that's on the album. I'm like, who is that? Like at least I own at least about 10 songs.
yeah, we in trouble.
But it's because a lot of them are like the millennial rappers, the new age rappers. So I don't know a lot of them anyway. So it just took him a minute to go through. Like, you know who that is? No, I don't know who that is. Like I know I can tell all to everybody else. Cuddy. Drake. I mean not Drake, but whoever else is on there. But these new age kids, nah, I don't listen to that. The backpack rappers.
David. The backpack. Man, listen, I still don't know who those rappers are on Kanye's album because he ain't put nobody's name in them. I need the names. I was trying to get back into hip hop and he don't want to list who all those people were on his album. But I digress. Folks, we messed up. We're in trouble and we need your help. David, I need you to get Olay's handle, her Twitter handle, so we can send her some love. We had a guest who was supposed to come on this morning who sat in the waiting room and we missed it because we just did a whole bunch of stuff. And we love our sister Olay. She's doing some amazing work in New York as a public defender. And she's bringing so much focus and emphasis onto Rikers and the atrocities that are happening in Rikers. And not only that, she's on all of the major networks, just speaking truth to power. And we missed her this morning. That's on us. Please go to her Twitter timeline and apologize for us and tell her how much we love her because we definitely want to get her back because damn it, I don't like dropping the ball like that. My bad, sis.
And the bad part about it is is that the calendar invite popped up while we were on the screen, and I was going to say, and that was like and that was right when you said Rebecca wasn't coming on, so I figured that Olay wasn't coming either.
So it's gonna come off hella misogynistic too, because there's all these men on the screen. We have not one sister on the screen. God damn it! Hey, we can't make mistakes like this, people. No, I'm joking.
Her Twitter handle.
We love you,
MSOLurin. MSOLURIN.
Give it to me one more time. Her Twitter handle is.
It's in Slack.
Yeah. No. Say it again. Just say it again.
MSOLURIN.
Yeah, there we go.
David said, I ain't gonna say nothing for you, black man. Shut the hell up.
David was like, I said it once. I'm not.
Like, I ain't gonna repeat my goddamn self. I don't like repeating myself. What the hell you talking?
That's like we got some voice in his bass. Some bass in his voice. What's going on here now?
All right, y'all. We do have one of our favorite.
But seriously, y'all show that sister some love, and I'm going to go personally do it myself as soon as we get off the air here, because she has always been a great support for the show, and she's doing some amazing work, and we want to bring attention to those issues because if you ask me, man, I want to start a project. So many of our brothers that are in Rikers right now, they're there because they just simply can't afford to post bail. And so I'm hoping that one day in the future, we can start a program where we start posting bail for them and getting them out of there. And if there is a program that already exists like that, I want to bring them to the front and let's push them so that we don't have to recreate the wheel. Because if it's a money thing, I know there's a lot of, hey, good white people of good faith. Let's do some good with all of that extra money that you guys have. Don't get any non-fungible tokens. Okay? No NFTs. If there's a single good white person in our audience who spent like $1 million on an NFT, I need you to go to patreon.com/like it or not and put it there, or put it in somewhere good. Put it to use, folks, because we honestly can do some good with the resources that are out here. And I'm thinking specifically of the project that I want to do with Rikers. And the first person that comes to mind is Olay Olurin. Show her some love on Twitter. That's all I got for the main show. We're getting ready to get out of here.
Before we get out, go ahead.
Ben just be going. God damn, Ben, slow down. Shit. We got B on the line.
Yeah, before we get, one of our favorite people is on the line. Caller, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Okay.
Hi, excuse me. I'd like to speak to the manager, please.
Ben, I think that's for you.
Right, David. I'm going to see y'all tomorrow.
Yes. What's going on?
B, we're not holding you back. Go for it.
Hi, this is B. I just wanted to say that I think it's a gross mischaracterization for you to assume that there's anyone who spent $1 million on a picture of a monkey who is also a good person. That's just not the world we live in, Benjamin.
They could just be naive, B. Maybe they just don't know where they can send that $1 million, and I'm trying to let them know. Don't spend it on the digital token.
Ben, you and I both know you're too old to be naive at this point.
No, I'm saying maybe they are naive. Maybe they're not bad people. They just don't know what to do with all that money. Yeah, no, I'm not naive.
No, I don't think so.
No, yeah.
Anyway, what I really wanted to say is that, like, white supremacy is bad for literally everyone. And I speak as someone who has never fit the definition of whiteness well, because the definition of white supremacy also includes misogyny. It includes homophobia. It includes transphobia. If you are any sort of different, it is unacceptable. And white supremacy will try to eat you. And unfortunately, there are just too many cishet Christian white people walking around in a bubble, completely unaware of the world around them. And it's time to wake up, people. It's time to wake up. It's time to look at the facts in front of you, reckon with reality, have the difficult conversations, feel uncomfortable, learn, grow, and move on. Please. Thank you.
Say that, B.
And
say that.
It's just so frustrating because I fully accept and acknowledge the fact that I'm in a unique position, that I've been given perspective in ways that a lot of white people are not. But we have Beyonce's internet now. You can go and find some perspective if you're really looking. So I'm just saying it's time to do the work. Yeah. And also, right. I hate to break the news to you, but all the good white people you know who are listening, we're all broke as fuck too. I ain't got no money. Y'all get $3 from me every month, and it's a hardship. So,
hey, B, we still appreciate that $3, B.
Be grateful for what you get, because it ain't gonna be much.
He said she broke as hell. She said, "Don't ask for nary extra dime, nary extra dime, not 301."
Broke.
Y'all are lucky you get this $3.
B, we have missed you.
I miss you too.
Oh man! See, that's why they work. I was in a, no pun intended, I was in a beeline to end the show. And that's why they were like, no, stop the show. Let B on the air. We love you, B. Thanks so much. Now can I end the show? Now can we go to the after party? What we got? What's that?
Got one
Anything
more
else that I need to pause for before we go?
We got one more call.
Yeah, no. If somebody's on the line,
when B calls, it's her show.
Right. Last caller on the line. Set us up, Dwayne.
All right, caller. Go ahead and introduce yourself. What's your name and where you from?
Hello?
Yes, we can hear you.
Hey, I'm from New York.
What's your name there, bro?
Thanks for calling in. What's on your mind?
There might be some people on the line.
Yeah. I just called yesterday because I got in a little bit late. I just wanted to ask, one, what do you think about, what's your prediction about the verdict for the Ahmaud Arbery trial? And two, do you think that the Arbery and Rittenhouse case really show the dangers of building, because I know Ben's on the progressive left, of building a movement that's so class-based that we end up having people like, Greenwald and Taibbi and Tracy who end up just being complete charlatans, and we let them in because, they have the right takes on class? Because I'm just alarmed at how many people, because everybody who's gone bad from the left has been one of these people who never really had a race-based focus. And, I appreciate you and Tim Black and Terrain and all that, but I've just noticed that pattern, that it's just been so consistent.
That's right. I noticed it first last year, and thanks for the call. I mean, you can hang out there. What he's talking about, if you want to know, like, where I get my bona fides, like where, my career has been in, one of my careers, I've had many, one of them has been in this progressive left, Bernie Sanders, political realm. And there are people who were standing side by side with us promoting Bernie Sanders who are now, and that's kind of just a generalization, it's much bigger than that, who are now standing behind Kyle Rittenhouse. So, there's a postmortem going on right now. Like, were they ever good people? Or did they just get good checks to support like ivermectin and horse dewormer and Kyle Rittenhouse? This is what the caller is talking about. That's all. I just want to explain. I have no comment on him other than I'm glad that you see it. I'm glad that other people are seeing it. I'm glad that people understand that that white supremacy. Did you see? Let me put it like this. Did you see how much racial solidarity that side had around that poor white boy because he wasn't rich. Kyle wasn't rich. They had to raise money for Kyle. Yeah. So Kyle was from the working class, a white working class. But all the richest white people across this country said, that's our boy. And they poured in all the money they could. He owns Fox News. He has his own documentary now on Fox News. That's because white supremacy has solidarity across class lines. And we got to understand that. White supremacy is first. Race is first in their eyes, and they demonstrated with Kyle Rittenhouse. Thank you so much for that call, caller.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yep. All right, y'all. That's all. We are all over time. I think this is a good place, man. Listen, I'm excited about getting the holiday started. I want to go outside and play with my kids. I know you got to get on the road. You want to get on the road like 24 minutes early?
Yeah, I mean, it's still going to be about 12:30 before I get on the road anyway, so it's okay.
I'm trying to get you to help me get off the show, man.
Ben, be ready to go. Ben, be ready to go.
It's not that I don't love y'all. I love y'all. I love this show, but like I love playing with my kids, man. Like, we about to go outside and play. So that said, I want everyone to have a great holiday, whatever you celebrate, whatever you don't celebrate. Spend time with your family, decompress, take care of you, love yourself, and get some rest. James, yeah, if y'all give me one more thing to do.
We got some more. I'm about to say, I did the first set already, but David, if you can send me those new ones, yes, because it looks like we got some more new. Oh, maybe David didn't hear me do the patrons the first time.
Yeah, that might be what that is. Yep,
that's what that is. You know, David misses all of it when I do it. So,
yeah. So, all hearts and minds are clear. Love y'all, as Rebecca would say. Mean it. Man, I'm about to go play Spaceship. My kids are, I'm Captain Picard, and they're the crew of the Enterprise. We're about to go play. I'll see y'all later.
Them kids ain't been in that all. Be about to go outside and do yoga on the beach. All right, y'all. We love y'all. Mean it, man. Y'all make sure that y'all be safe this holiday weekend. Y'all take care of yourselves. Y'all have fun. Enjoy yourself. Eat a lot of good food. And eat a lot of good cake, man. And stay black, stay powerful, stay white, stay powerful. Whatever it is you need to do. Love y'all, mean it. Hey, a real quick affirmation for the day and the rest of the week is, I am grateful for the opportunity to align myself with peace, joy, and prosperity. I am grateful for the opportunity to align myself with peace, joy, and prosperity. Love y'all, mean it. Enjoy. Y'all break, man. We'll see you on Monday. Too sad.
Like 5,000 degrees. It's almost ready. We've been craving this all week. Oh, baby, you want it. I got it. I'm hooked on you like phonics. Gotta be honest. You're on it. And this ain't no time to be modest. Hope that, push that, shake that. Girl, take your last name. It's life for me. We don't need a recipe.